Hello, this is the Progressive Cynic, and in this video I will be making an update on the Syria situation. Over the last week, Russian President Vladimir Putin actually has suggested a very constructive way of resolving the Syria conflict. Now this is incredibly surprising because as of even a week ago, the general consensus was that Putin would stand by Assad and would try to stall any sort of international intervention in Syria, most notably in the UN Security Council. He has a veto vote, or Russia has a veto vote, and it was looking like they would prevent the UN from doing anything on this issue. Now, Putin's idea, which I think is very reasonable, is that Syria will voluntarily surrender all of its chemical weapons to the United Nations and will agree not to create any more or use any in any future conflicts. Now, this sort of disarmament would need to be carried out by the United Nations, and it would also require many people on the ground in order to ensure that every chemical weapon is accounted for. It's a fairly difficult process, and it might miss a few. That said, it is far superior than massive bombing runs or any sort of attack on the military infrastructure of the Syrian regime. Now, I think that this is far superior to a military option because it's a win-win all around in a situation where wins are not very common. On one hand, if Obama champions this and gets behind it in the way that Putin appears to be going towards, he can claim, oh look, we actually got the chemical weapons out of Syria and we didn't need to start some massive, messy war. In addition to this, this sidesteps the Congress, which is not going to approve a resolution for war, it looks like, and it avoids a constitutional nightmare where the legislature says, oh no, you can't go to war, then the president says, yes, I can go to war because the War Powers Act allows it, then we have this big fight which possibly ends in impeachment. I don't think anyone but the most extreme Republicans want that, but that's only because they want an excuse in order to impeach Obama. It's a ridiculous situation. Russia, under this deal, would be able to say, oh look, we came up with a very good solution and we did not back down to the United States. It lets them show that they're still a relevant geopolitical power. And it will give Vladimir Putin a way to say, oh yeah, I came up with the most reasonable solution, even when the United States was completely stumped on this. He's very prideful, and this will probably, it strokes his ego. For the Assad regime, this cripples them when it comes to their ability to wage chemical warfare, and if they decide to do so in the future, they will be physically incapable of actually achieving such a devastating result. There are other chemical weapons that they can use, but the really dangerous sarin or VX would be out of the country in the hands of the United Nations. On the other hand, the Syrian rebels, they would not be receiving any support from international actors or the United States. This is beneficial to basically everyone but them, which is, by definition, means it's beneficial to us, because it would mean that we don't have to give aid to Al-Qaeda and various other extremist groups who may use that aid against us. Now, it is also beneficial to the UN because it gives the UN the ability to actually achieve its intended result. It is getting chemical weapons out of the hands of people who may use them and is upholding the international rule of law. That is what it was created for, and that is what its purpose really should be. Now, in addition to what Putin is suggesting, I would also suggest an addendum to that, where the Assad regime should be requested, or rather required, to turn over those who actually authorized and carried out the use of these chemical weapons. At this point, we're pretty sure that Assad himself was not the one who ordered these attacks. In fact, German intelligence ships have intercepted at least 9 communications between on-the-ground commanders and Assad himself, where the commanders have requested authorization to use chemical weapons, and Assad has refused them that authorization. This tends to indicate that it was some rogue commander who utilized these weapons. The Assad regime should turn this person over. They obviously know who it is. And they should let this person and anyone under his command who was involved in this attack be sent to the Hague and charged for war crimes. We cannot let the use of chemical weapons stand, and anyone to use them should be punished in the legal fashion under international courts. As of now, my old video on my suggestions of what to do in Syria is completely outdated, and, well, it's a complicated situation, and the facts on the ground change very quickly. This situation may evolve further, and I will try to make another video in the case of that happening. But as of now, I see full acceptance of Putin's suggestion by the United States to be probably the best course of action. And I would, as I've already said, support this addendum where those responsible actually get punished. This has been the Progressive Cynic. Thank you for watching.